getting started here.
Yeah.
So Gustavo starts with a Zorua, and it looks like he is going first. Starts with a Tapu Lele.
I assume he's going to go Apricorn here because he has such an Apricorn-heavy deck.
Yep, we do see that. Obviously, in the past, this start would have yielded a Bridget, and instead it'll do a slightly less efficient form of Bridget.
He's going to check for some prizes for a minute. So I think what's interesting is he's running 3 Apricorn Makers. So he's really leaning into, I'm going to find Apricorn Maker turn 1 and get out 2 ball cards. But he's only running 4 Nest Balls, 3 Timer Balls, 2 Ultra Balls.
Yeah, I mean, an Apricorn Maker early grabs the 2 Nest Balls. Not as good early, but you know, with an Apricorn Maker the next turn, for example, he can grab 2 Timer Balls, which can almost guarantee at least 2 Zoroark in play, if not more. So it's interesting. There's kind of been a lot of debate on that card. We'll see if he can take advantage of it. He passes to Zach with 3 Zorua in play.
Yeah. So the last game we saw a deck that had 1 Apricorn Maker and ran that 4-4-2 kind of ball line that we've seen so prevalent on the internet to date. And then the prior round, obviously, you and I casted Jimmy Pendarvis playing with no Apricorn Makers, leaning entirely into draw supporters, and then running 12 balls, including no Timer Balls and 4 Great Balls. It'll be interesting to see if we can start to figure out what the right strategy is as far as building these lines out.
Looks like Zach benches a DNC and then plays a Judge. The only thing he wants off this is an energy. If he can get an energy and knock out this Zorua, this is a fantastic first turn for Zach. I don't see anything. See a Brooklet. Oh, there is a fight.
He's got
Perfect.
it.
Yeah, this is very good. Gustavo does not want to see this.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, he does not look like he has a lot of other gas in the tank here.
So fortunately, with Buzzwole, against a field of basics, especially those weak to fighting, you don't really need too much. He's fine just sitting behind this Jet Punch.
So I saw he had the Brooklet in the hand, and he could have benched that and kind of built out his board a little more. How do you feel about that?
The reason he didn't is because right now he doesn't need anything. There's no Octillery in format anymore, so he doesn't need to get a Remoraid. And he doesn't want to give Gustavo the ability to get his own Rockruff, for example, if that's what he's playing.
If he had just cheesed out the Rockruff off the Brooklet, he would have said, damn, why did I let him do that?
Right. So, he's fine to just wait and see. Next turn he can play it if he needs it. Unfortunately, he cannot get this Zorua out of the active spot.
That's a rough turn.
So now Zach is going to kill 2 Zorua on this turn. That Buzzwole
He's going to slip the Sledgehammer turn.
That Buzzwole is going to feast on these poor puppers here.
Yeah, he's going to miss the Sledgehammer turn when he takes a double knockout on these Zoruas, and it is going to be really rough.
He touches a double, a card that didn't really see play in Buzzrock in the past, but with the rotation of Strong Energy, a lot of Buzzrock decks are opting to play this card just to make it a little easier to attack with Lycanroc. Max Elixir is also rotated, which was kind of how you powered up the Lycanroc. So kind of a more consistent way to do it, and he's just going to take 2 prizes, and now Gustavo is in a terrible board position here.
Yeah, this is going pretty rough. If and he misses the energy attachment onto the Rockruffs here, he's just got nothing going on.
He misses a supporter. Yeah. All he can do is attack.
He's had 3 Zoruas killed already.
They're kind of, at this point in the game, they're kind of playing the same deck, but Gustavo's is significantly worse in almost every facet.
But Zachary has cards to help him play this deck.
Right, yeah.
Zachary's got cards
Zachary
for
wants
deck.
to play this deck, and Gustavo does not. Yeah, if I'm Gustavo here, I probably have to realize that, I'm going to lose this game. But I think he's trying to just see, gather as much information as he can. He realizes not a lot of time has gone through. Neither of these decks are slow, so he can probably finish 3 games.
We're 3 minutes in. There's plenty of time left to let Zachary play a few cards and just get some information.
He just wants to learn. There's not really too many interesting counts other than I would say Acerola is probably the most interesting. That's not a card that's seen play in Buzzrock in the past, but with the rotation of stuff like Max Elixir, like I mentioned earlier, and Strong Energy, you kind of want to conserve your energy a little more, and also just maybe reuse Lycanrocs and stuff like that.
I think this is how the Buzzrock decks that I've seen have tried to adapt to Shrine. Is they throw a couple of Acerolas in and they say, well, things go completely off the rails, I'll just pick it up.
Yeah, with the 3 Brooklet as well, that's 5 outs to Shrine, technically. So, looks like he does actually use that Ace Roll like we talked about. And now he conserves that fighting energy, and he's going to pull up the Lele, and he'll have Dangerous Rogue here to go down to 1 prize. Gustavo,
That's enough for Gustavo.
Obviously, he knows that game was over anyway, but
yeah,
he
couldn't
just
get an
wanted to
energy
see
on the Rockruff. I mean, it was there was nothing good that happened in that game.
But that's actually useful for Gustavo. You know, he saw the Acerola. So now he knows that Zach at least plays Acerola. So now he knows, you know, maybe 2-shotting something like a Lycanroc isn't going to work because he has Acerola. So he's got to change his strategy.
And he's playing a 2-shot deck. So, like, he's going to have to recognize that, you know, we got to manage the opportunities that he creates for Zachary to play Acerola.
Yeah, something we saw only because Gustavo was shuffling was Gustavo actually runs a 1/1 Macargo as well. You know, that was in the Zoro Cargo decks in the past, but a lot of Zoroark decks outside of that archetype are now playing it as well, just because the utility is so good. You're basically computer searching every turn with it with a Zoroark deck. So obviously very, very useful, Gustavo.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the list that Zachary's playing is actually a list that my family tested. It's interesting. I mean, he plays the Zygarde GX that didn't even come out there, and he uses the double colorless energies that he's put in to support Lycanroc to combo into the Zygarde, and then he's also got the Acerolas and 4 B-Strings. I mean, he can get a lot of energy in play.
Yeah, definitely. Zygarde's a pretty good attacker, not weak to Psychic, so good against stuff like Banette or Garb if he needs. Looks like we are getting ready to go to Game 2 here. Still basically full time left. And hopefully Gustavo can actually do something this game.
Yeah, starts the double Zorua.
He starts with a Kukui. That is the worst draw supporter you want to see on the first turn.
Yeah.
Still manages to get 3 Zorua down. Probably going for a Rockruff here. He has a fighting energy in hand, so he'll probably attach that to Rockruff. He does not run a copy of Diancie. So we saw that Jimmy Pendarvis ran that earlier, which gives Lycanroc the ability to hit 130. But Gustavo is not running that, which means that he actually, other than Kukui and Devoured Field, he has no way of one-shotting these Baby Buzz.
I'm surprised that people are opting not to play the Diancie. It seems like hitting for 130 is so important in this format. I don't love the choice to not have that opportunity with Lycanroc.
I agree with you. I think we saw how useful it was for Jimmy.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they say, oh, I have 3 Devoured Fields, so that's going to let me hit for 130 with Zoroark. But you don't want to kill a Baby Buzzwole with Zoroark because you're going to get smacked in the face.
You don't want him up there attacking. But
yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sure Gustavo was expecting some form of Garb or Buzz, so yeah, he's probably not too worried about it.
Yeah.
Zach plays a Brooklet, just searching his deck. Probably going to grab this Rockruff here. He'll get a knockout on the active Zoro because it is, of course, weak to this Baby Buzz. We've seen this dance before. And he's going to play Cynthia, so
if you're Gustavo, what are you going to put up into the active? Are you just going right into the Lycanroc?
I guess it depends on what Zach does on his turn. He's probably not going to play too many other Pokemon down.
Yeah.
So if I'm Gustavo, I probably want to put up a Zoroark and maybe try and find a Lycanroc to pull up Zach's Rockruff and knock it out. A lot of strategy in the Zoroark mirror match is about controlling your opponent's Rockruff. He opts to put up the Buzz, so maybe
another Kukui.
His hand is not good.
Yeah. And I assume if he had a Zoroark in hand, he'd have slammed it down.
Yeah. So
if
two
he's really
ugly
just chilling.
games. That's interesting. I would have maybe thought about using the Brooklet first, pull a Rockruff out of the deck, or at least just check the deck. But
yeah, I mean, it's your chance to get a free look through your deck to remind yourself what's going on. Gustavo checked his prizes for a second, but I'm sure he's thinking, where are those Zoroarks right about now?
See Zach playing Acrobike. A lot of Buzz decks have started running Acrobike. Sort of a replacement for Octillery. Obviously not as good, but it does give you some supplemental draw to Cynthia and Lily. So we'll see what he grabs. It looks like he's taking a
what's interesting is he runs the Acrobike, but I think all the ones we've seen previously that run Acrobike run the Macargo. And then the acrobike is nice because it lets you,
Draw with the
combo
Macargo.
into the cargo during your turn, as opposed to influencing your top draw for next turn.
I didn't see what he took with the acrobike. He discarded the rescue stretcher. Looks like a fighting energy. That might have been what he took. It was still at the top of his hand. Didn't really see there, but this is still fine.
He's got a Lycanroc in hand. I think he's wondering, should he play it down and kill a Zorua? The problem is he goes into Sledgehammer turn there.
Right, yeah. So he's going to actually take out the Rockruff, which I think is fine because, again, you really want to, you try and control the other person's Lycanrocs. Yeah. But he is unable to knock it out.
It's interesting. I recognize that one of the funny things about this concept of chasing Rockruffs in the meta is when there were strong energies, you could almost always expect to have a combo where you were able to take a knockout with a Baby Buzz or a Big Buzz, because you were like, strong energy, Diancie, hit for 70, it's easy.
It looks like Gustavo plays an Acerola, picks up the Rockruff, puts it back down, reattaches the energy, so he basically just moved it to the bench.
Yeah.
So Gustavo is showing that his hand is pretty poor, but Zach, he's in a better board position, but not too much better. I mean, he'd definitely like to get more, probably another Rockruff at least. Looks like he's got a Zygarde. Start setting that thing up. Gustavo almost certainly does not have a clean way of dealing with that, especially with this board position here. So we'll see what happens. They're very awkwardly trading 30 damage blows.
Yeah, it definitely feels a lot. There's a lot of draw passing going on here.
See what Gustavo has.
I think this is, in some ways, this is a reflection of the new meta. There's a lot of times where you're just drawing dead.
Yep.
Right? I mean, Gustavo would love to get out of Macargo to be able to have better draws, but heck, he'd like Zoroarks now. He'd like a lot of things.
Yeah, Zach draws. I think he drew a Cynthia. I believe he has an Acerola in his hand as well, so if he Acerolas, that Baby Buzzwole will get knocked out by another Sledgehammer if it stays in the active, so he probably wants to save it, push up this Zygarde, start doing damage there. Don't believe there's any fighting in the discard to accelerate, but
yeah.
Still much better than giving up prizes to Gustavo, not giving him a chance to draw something out of prizes or anything.
Yeah, and he's like, if you want to find a way to kill his Zygarde and put me on a Sledgehammer turn, that's fine.
Yeah, this Zygarde, 190 HP, not an Ultra Beast, so you can't Beast String to it, but still, like you said earlier, it does take advantage of that double colorless.
And he's big.
Yeah.
200 hit points?
Oh, maybe it is 200. Yeah, I actually
200.
Think
I mean, it's big.
That's how much I know, I guess. Looks like Gustavo. I think that's an Ultra Ball.
Yeah, he found an Ultra Ball. He must be super happy.
He can grab Lele. He can finally bail himself out of this. Probably going to take a Cynthia. Yep, just wants to shuffle his hand in. Even though he only has one card in his hand. Oh, he has no cards in his hand.
He's going to play out the Palpad.
That's interesting.
Throw all his Kukuis back in.
So there's an interesting point that Chip brought up in one of the earlier matches on, if you have no cards in hand, Cynthia or Lily. And a lot of times, players will opt to Lily because the chances of you getting full use out of a Lily at a different point in the game are way lower than with a Cynthia. But
that's exactly what I said in round 3. We had the exact same situation happen. The guy had one card in hand and chose the Cynthia for 6 instead of Lillian for 5. I was like, I have mixed feelings about that.
Gustavo does not get anything off of his Cynthia, no Zoroarks.
Yeah.
So he's forced to just hit the Zygarde for 60.
I mean, the fact that he cannot find a Zoroark to save his life is absolutely crushing.
Zach is content to just kind of sit here. If he can get a Rockruff, I think that would be good. So he can chase Gustavo's Rockruff next turn. And then if he does that, he can pretty much sweep the game with Lycanroc. But I don't see what he has. He's got a Cynthia. Honestly, if I'm Zach, the only thing I really want, I think he attached this turn to the Lycanroc.
He attached to the Lycanroc.
So he can really just find a Brooklet, find a Rockruff, and set himself up for next turn.
How does the 2 energy attack on the Zygarde work?
I believe it does 50. and then you take 2.
2 from your discard and attach it to it.
Correct. Yeah.
So he's got the knockout here plus some acceleration.
Yeah. If there are fighting in his discard.
Yeah.
Which I don't believe there are because he didn't take any last turn. And
Yeah.
he has not played an Ultra Ball yet. So he'll knock out this Baby Buzz. He puts himself at 4 prizes, but that Buzz was just knocked out. So, you know, Gustavo will need a lot. So he plays Timer Ball. Looks like that's a heads and a tails.
So he must have top decked that because I assume he would have played that timer ball right away last turn.
Yep.
He finds 1 Zoroark and he's going to hope to trade into more. I mean, he needs a lot of pieces here. And Zachary's done a nice job of recognizing that, I mean, with the Lycanroc out, even if Gustavo evolved into Lycanroc here, there's no bench on Zachary's side. Like, you can't Dangerous Rogue any Zygarde dead.
Yeah, he's been playing it very smart, keeping his hand low.
Yeah.
So Gustavo now, so that Zygarde has 60 damage on it from the Sledgehammer earlier. So, you know, Gustavo probably looking for another energy and a Choice Band to possibly score a knockout on this Zygarde.
Yeah, if you DCE Lycanroc, Choice Band would give you a knockout. A full bench and a Choice Band gives you a knockout.
I think you can
Zoroark.
actually maybe even kill it with the Lele. If he puts up the
Yeah, you got 80.
Lycanroc, it isn't in danger of being knocked out by Zach's Dangerous Rogue if he finds DNC Choice Band.
Right.
So if he can knock it out with the Lele, I think he wants to do that, but
What does he need to knock it out? He needs Choice Band gets him to 110.
so he would need an energy. Oh, he pulls up that Lycanroc.
Yeah, no, I don't think that'd be enough because I think Zygarde has 200. You got to hit for 140. 1 energy. If you found a DCE, that would get you there.
Right. So he's opting to pull up the Lycanroc, get a shot off on it now, which means that Zach just can't sweep with this thing. But
as you said, if you could take away the option to Dangerous Rogue his Lycanroc, he can try and put himself in a situation where his Lycanroc can run through the board a little bit.
Gustavo, of course, this series has not even encountered the B-string hurdle yet that Buzzwole decks have made so popular. So he's got a ways to go here. Zach Ultra Balling, discarding the Brooklet. I still didn't see what he took.
I know.
There's another.
It looks like he took a Brooklet.
Okay.
the aggro bike and a double Brooklet.
Tough choice.
Actually, pretty easy choice. You're like, we're definitely discarding Brooklet.
Yeah. So here, probably honestly, either a I don't know what his hand is. So a Diancie if he wants to score a knockout here, or another Rockruff if he has like a Choice Band in his hand. I'd like to see a rock. Hopefully he has a Choice Band or something. That way he can knock out this Lele. So he can kind of keep progressing his board, but
yeah, I'm assuming he doesn't have it. Otherwise, this would be a really easy call. And he went back and looked at his deck to think about it a little bit. Would you get out a Baby Buzz if you thought he's going to knock out this Lycanroc? Because I'm not going to take a knockout here.
Well, he has Baby Buzz in play already.
Oh, okay.
He has an attachment, so I think you want to attach to at least that Zygarde. Because Zygarde's GX attack, I believe, does 150. So, maybe there's... Not really sure. Rockruff's not bad here. Just
looks like he's thinking about the Rockruff. He's got the Rockruff on the top of his deck.
Yeah. Doing some counting. Probably figuring out how math works with Dangerous Rogue in the future.
I think he recognizes... he hasn't attached for turn yet, right?
No, he has not.
Yeah,
no, he has energy in hand.
Yeah, but I assume.
So it's actually fine here. What he can do, he can, if he has, well, I guess we have to see what he has in his hand. If he has Choice Band, he can Dangerous Rogue the active here.
Right.
And then, he's opting to switch.
Yeah, I don't think he has the Choice Band because he would have played that down faster. It would have been an easy search through his deck.
Here we go. Okay. So he's opting to Guzma up a Zoroark, and he's going to Dangerous Rogue this one.
Yeah.
He didn't attach that turn, which was interesting.
Yeah, he missed the energy and he missed the Choice Band. So he was just chilling.
I thought he had a fighting energy in his hand, but maybe it was a fighting Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, he would have attached it to the Rockruff or the Lycanroc if he'd had it, right?
Yeah.
He would have attached it to the Lycanroc and just Claw Slashed, right?
Now Gustavo has kind of an opportunity to come back in this game. If he can, he's gonna knock this out. Preferably, he'd like to get an energy so he can claw swipe it, energy choice band, because it already has 80 damage on it. So if he can get an energy and knock this out with claw swipe and conserve his dangerous rogue, or just GX attack in general, then Zach is kind of in a position where he doesn't have a lot of firepower on his board right now. Kukui.
Yeah. But Zach's okay. I was gonna say getting the Brooklet Hill is actually important this turn. Zach's got B strings. They're about to go into a B string turn. If he just gets to get a Buzzwole GX out of his deck and B string to it and start knuckle impacting when he's got 2 prizes left, there's almost no way to recover from that, right?
So using that Kukui, Gustavo does take the knockout on the Lycanroc with Claw Slash. So Gustavo now in a much better position. He's using B string, pulling up the Zoroark. Doesn't matter. Zach had the game.
Yeah, that's the B string's too powerful.
Unfortunately for Gustavo, kind of a tough matchup as is, but especially difficult when you don't really do anything for the first couple turns either game. First game was obviously abysmal for him, but game 2, he...
Yeah,